This ain't no joke, this ain't no game. This that CSC game. They said pull up, so I came. You better put some respect on their name. Yeah, 55 was goody. Kill the vibe, how could he? Big Cardinal on the hoodie. Let me break it down for you fully. This ain't your average broadcast. This ain't just no podcast. I'm on the show, spread fake news. We just call it podcast. West Joey, Sam, Sean, Dalton. And you know that boy hit you. He said he wants small fry. Tell him they better make him big. Yeah, you already know what we be on.
You bet. Here he goes. This place is gone.
If we set it instead of the stone, sit in the seat and set up your phone. You in the Cardinal Sports Zone.
Straight steal of home. The slide. The Cards win.
The magic is working tonight. How do you know when things are...
The emotional journey to the championship.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Wahman. Give us just a second here. We're having some technical difficulties. So what I mean by that is that Sam waited till the last second to try to log in and is not with us.
You pegged
yet.
Just nip it in the butt. Bud. He's a passenger princess.
Yeah, he is. Let's get him in here. Forgot to change the background. Sorry for the disheveledness. There he is. We'll get him in here in a second. And then we'll get right back onto the let's move this around a little bit. Coming to you live from the Rally House Studios. This is the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Wyman, here with my co-host. He puts the lotion on his skin. No, I'm just kidding. It is the editor of CardinalSportsZone.com. Assistant editor. I'm really the editor. Don't forget it. And one of the nicest guys on earth is it's the man, Sean Barber.
What's up?
Across from him is the solo Sokoa of our little group. I'm sorry, solo Sajoa. It is my little big brother, Joe Wahman. Big little brother.
Acknowledge me.
You can acknowledge them all you want. I am the OPC, the original podcast champion. Don't forget that. Sam.
You got it? I mean, no, he did it.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if he refused or if he was just picking at his nose. Speaking of, last but not least, he is our resident home. Kansas City Chief man. It's the women's basketball beat writer at times and the football beat writer at times. It is the absentee, Sam Basin. What's up, Sam?
What's up?
Well, absent in person anyway. We got a good show. Got a good lineup for you all tonight. Got some confirmation on future guests. We're going to get a couple people. Remind me because I didn't put that in the show format to mention some of the possible future guests. We're going to have a good time. But first off, I wanted to ask, how's everybody? Sean, how was your week this week, man?
Very long. I swear, it seems like every week at work, it just gets longer and longer.
That don't sound like a bad Joey?
Hit the button. Beep. As
Okay.
always.
The button. Sean, the button.
That one.
Okay, stop it.
Hey,
All right, Sam, I would ask you how your week was, but you've already cost us enough time at the top of the podcast. Don't forget the Mossio chat line is open if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or however. Send us your questions on social media. Check on the graphic below to see how you can follow the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast on social media and how to help support monetarily. Don't forget YouTube subscriptions and gifts in the chat are also a possibility while we're doing the show. Hit that thumbs up button while you're here on YouTube. Make sure you are watching on YouTube if you can. It'll help us out more. Shout out to our fine sponsors of the show. As always, Fitness Market, Four Pegs, the Collision Corkscrew Tailgaters, Cherry Pick and Shoot 360, Mossy Oak, Planet Fitness, and the House of Rally, a.k.a. Rally House. Our guy Wes Keys checking in remotely from Ford. What's up, Wes? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put his business out. From an undisclosed location, that's Ford. Look, first off, really quickly, wanted to pay homage to one of our family members. Of course, last week we lost our teammate here at Cardinal Sports Zone at the age of 29, Ben Gumble. Me, Sean, and Sam, we did represent for the website and went and visited, and that was a special moment. His mom, his sister, his brother telling us stories about how much he loved the website. Us telling stories about how much we cared about him too. This week, though, we lost our great aunt. It was the last of a generation, literally. I'm going to read a little excerpt for those of y'all that aren't my friend on Facebook because I don't like you. No, I'm just kidding. because we're just not friends on Facebook. I put a lot of personal stuff there that I don't on Twitter. This is what I wrote. It is a sad day for my family, a day that has loomed large for quite a while. For the first time in our life, we will be without everybody in the picture. And I posted a picture of basically our family's version of the Four Horsemen, except for that it was the Four Horsewomen and Two Horsemen. My great aunt Oma passed away peacefully this morning. The greatest quartet of women ever, both musically and life-wise, have finally reunited. You hear talk about the four fathers of families all the time, but we were fortunate enough to have the four mothers, a group of fearless women that were our foundation for faith, for love, and for life. They showed all the girls how to stand up for themselves and how they should be treated. They showed us boys how to treat girls and how to stand up for ourselves as well, amongst a variety of other life lessons. They were a pack of women who embodied not fitting inside a box. There were loud ones, there were quiet ones, they were all funny. They played on the boys' teams in high school, spoke up in church when they weren't supposed to, or when they were supposed to be quiet, and were fierce before that was even a thing. We love them all, and they will all be missed. There's the group part of this post done, which I felt compelled to do because it really was the end of an era, the end of a generation. Then I went on to my personal feelings, and Oma was very special to me from being a kid and going out to lunch with her during the summer. We stayed with her mama to our talks recently about family heritage and stuff like that. Glad I was able to message with her in our family chat. Loved hearing her and our mom talk on the phone together because it reminded me exactly of how Mama and Aunt Oma used to talk, from the hello to the, well, I think we've talked about everything there is. Talk to you later. We'll miss her dearly. I'm so glad I got to see her a few weeks ago when she was in good spirits. I think my cousins will agree that having her around was like having her sisters around, which reminded us of them. It was always good feelings to have. I don't know what I just did. Give me a second to pop back on the screen. There we go. I love you to know you are hanging out with not only great grandma and the rest of the crew, but also Mama, Mammy, Aunt Oma, or Aunt Nola is what I meant to put. I had a lot of typos in this apparently that I'm just not catching. Aunt Nola, Pop, Papa Shaw, and Dad, amongst others. We'll miss you forever. Rest in heaven. Just a special person, Joey. I know you've not really got to put a whole lot of thoughts out there, but while I fix all these typos, anything that you wanted to add to that?
No, I mean, you pretty much said it all, but just fond memories. Great lady. You could say stuff, and all of them, they'd mishear what you said, and then they would say something totally off the wall, and then you'd be laughing for hours. I remember one time, all four of them, when we were young kids, all four of them came up, and we took them to Derby Dinner Playhouse, and the play was a Revolutionary War play, and of course we didn't know what was going to happen or anything, but like at the beginning of it, one of them shot a rifle, what do they call it?
Musket.
Yeah,
I
musket.
knew Sean was going to know that.
Yeah, that's why I looked over. He needs some musket, but shot a musket, and it scared one of them, and then they all laughed for the rest the 2 hours of the show. Then the whole way back to the house, and probably about an hour and a half after that, nonstop laughter. And then during the summers, her and Aunt Nola worked at the social services office down there. Mama worked at the high school. It was right next door. We'd go down for the summer. Mama would have to work the last 2 weeks, or the 2 weeks after school ended and the first 2 weeks before school started. And we'd small town stuff. But you'd go to the pharmacy, and they had a little bar and grill like a bowling alley would. We'd meet them there, grilled cheese, grilled ham and cheese. And
get us a comic book.
Yeah, something. Archie comic book.
I don't know.
Probably was. It's probably all they sold down there. No, I mean it. My cousin texted me the other day. We was talking about things. It's end of an era. When Mama passed away, there was a gentleman that nobody knew was there, and he looked at Aunt Noma and was like, Well, hon, you're the last leaf on the tree. And she said, well, Lord, please don't let nobody shake the tree. Well, it remained unshaken for 14 years. So she was 93 years old when she passed. So she lived a full life.
Absolutely. And, just we're going to be heading down there this weekend, and just our thoughts and prayers and love to everybody down there. We're going to, we're going to do what you're supposed to do, which is celebrate life. So, and there was a lot of life to celebrate there. So, thank you for allowing us to speak about our personal stuff. Of course, that's what, when you have a format where you're able to talk about just about anything, you take advantage of it when you can. So we appreciate that. Let's check this.
Let me just hit this fan for a few minutes. I don't know why I'm burning up.
Jason Baker says, hello, gentlemen. Justin McCord says, prayer hands. And Daniel Spencer says, the real question is, who wins the Elimination Chamber? Well, Daniel, what a great question. While we're talking about our great aunt. I'm just kidding. Let's do this. We will talk about
the final boss knows.
Yeah. Jesus? Oh, you meant for the chamber. Okay.
The final underboss.
So really quick, another really quick. I want to go ahead and share this clip because Sam, Sean, Joey, something amazing happened while we were on our way to the visitation. I think it was somebody sent us a clip of something that had happened the day before, and we want to share that with you really quickly. Is that on the screen yet? Okay, yes, it's on the screen. Go ahead, Coach, take it away.
Start with a couple things real quick. Outside of basketball, I value so much what you guys do in reporting on Louisville basketball, and you guys are all pros, and you pour your heart and soul into your craft. And as we know, a member of your crew we lost this week in Ben Gumble, way too young at 28 years old. Somebody that loved what he did. I like to think a guy whose career was going like this and just taken too early. So my thoughts, my prayers, my condolences go out to Ben's family.
So that was pretty cool. Class act, as we knew he was. They had set up even like a memorial type thing at his. It would have been very easy for them to take his nameplate off and next man up, because he'd been doing it for 7 years, so it'd have been real easy to move somebody down from up top. Not very classy, but it'd have been real easy to do. And they, they went the whole 9 yards for Ben. Ben is somebody who loved was so excited about finally having good basketball. And I hate that we're going back down the somber road, but it is what it is. I wanted to recognize Coach Kelsey for doing that, and U of L basketball, Dana Brown, the whole crew. So thank you. We all appreciate it. His family appreciates it. We've been in contact, and it was we got to see Mitch, the Great White Buffalo. We saw him at the visitation amongst others. So we're going to try to do a old school Cardinal Card Fam lunch sometime soon. We'll figure it out and get back with you all during the summer so we keep the excitement levels up. However, we had a game this week. Virginia Tech named this episode Hokie Pokied because we won because of a poked finger. It helped us. Here's the recap. Louisville jumped up to their highest ranking in years when the polls came out this week. It was the perfect time for a letdown. Team's sick, 9 p.m. start, anxious to defend their new ranking. It was time for the new streak to end. Except one thing, it didn't. Chucky led all Cardinals with 15 points. Terrence Edwards and James Oop Scott had 13, and Javon at 11 to lead the Cards to a 71-66 victory in one of the worst places to play college basketball. Javon led all Cards in rebounds with 8, Scott had 6. Chucky had 6 assists on the night. Got some really interesting statistics later on in the show. We're going to share with you about the basketball team. Rain Smith had an unusual off night from behind the stripe as he went 1 for 9 from 3 and hit 2 2-point baskets. It may be the first time in his career he's hit more 2s than 3s. James Scott had 147 dunks that night. Anyhow, the Cards got out to a big lead in the first 10 minutes of the game, but then little Papa shot pump. Brandon Recksteiner couldn't miss from 3. Son of former professional wrestler Scott Steiner. For those of y'all that don't know, Scott Steiner's other son played tight end, I believe, for the Jacksonville State football team that came to Louisville. And very athletic family because you got those two.
His name,
Brock.
I think it's Brock.
It could be. Because, his brother Rick's son is current Intercontinental Champion Braun Breaker in the WWE. Anyway, the Cards were, he led all Hokies with 16. Actually, Virginia Tech's 3-point shooting and making them is what kept them in the game, hitting a Louisville-esque 11 threes overall. The Cards were also out-rebounded this game, another thing they aren't used to, and had 12 turnovers. This game stayed close throughout the last 29 minutes and 30 seconds of the game. Props go out to Virginia Tech for hanging with this Louisville team, and props to the Louisville team playing under the weather and still gritting out the win. The Cards next face Pittsburgh Saturday at 6 p.m. on ESPN2. They're looking to win their 7th in a row and 17 out of their last 18 games. Sean, as y'all can tell, I've got a little raspy voice going on. My wife likes it. Most of y'all probably don't. But some of your takeaways from the game.
They were tired. That's why that game was so close, because I don't think Virginia Tech would have been able to hit 11 threes for one, because we're having trouble getting out and closing out on the shooters. I just think it was a lot of the residual from the flu running through the team. And I think Rain,
sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah, exactly. But what I love about it is, despite that, you have, Chucky gutting it out, 16 points, 6 assists, doing what he does, just playing lip,
just marking him.
Yeah, just marking him. But Javon Hadley was, to me, the all-star of the game, because there was a point where I thought the game was getting away from us, and they started feeding Hadley in the post.
Yeah,
and he was backing them down, making tough shots. And I was like,
which is something we worried about at the first of the season. Who's going to step up and be the inside presence? It's been Javon Hadley.
And it's been Javon Hadley, and to me, he's the MVP of that game.
And James Scott with his 4,000 dunks.
He had exactly 5,173 37 dunks. But and shout out to our guy R-Truth, who's always reading our messages we send him on social media. Hopefully one day he'll take one of our ideas and put it on TV. Also, for those of you all that are wrestling fans, WWE Monday Night Raw in the CSZ Sweet Party returns May the 12th in the KFC Yum Center. So we're going to have a good time that night on Netflix. Maybe Sam will show up that night. Maybe he'll have something. We don't know. We don't know yet. We just don't know. But again, so a couple of, I'm trying to figure out how I want to attack this. Let me go to the chat line really quick.
Just while you're doing that, getting to it, just real quick on that. So, like they always say, good teams find a way to win games, right?
Well, yeah, unless there's a narrative that they want to push. But
well, the other night, that's what happened.
Right.
Even when you're not playing well, no matter what the circumstances are, you find a way to win a game. And that's what they did. And you got to do that, as the season goes along.
Now, I want to know, everybody, this is one of we had a question earlier, and we'll attack that later on in the show. But my other question, and I want you all to respond in the chat, the Mossy Oak chat line, how is tomorrow's stripe out going to turn out? Before we get to that, Sam, anything that you want to add about the game against Virginia Tech? I just hate the late night games. I think that had something to do with it. Them not feeling well. But what about you? What about you, Sam?
It was just a really, really tough fought game. You you don't really see teams win on the road when you get out rebounded. The other team, I think, scored about five more 3 pointers than you did. So in those type of games, the visiting team usually doesn't win. You look at it down the stretch. I think Chucky had about two uncharacteristic turnovers, trying to do what he usually does, maybe trying to do a little bit too much at times. But the defense is what stuck out to me because they had every opportunity, when Virginia Tech was making their run and was trying to put game pressure on the Cards. Their defense, the Cards defense, stayed true, made some key stops. Virginia Tech missed a few timely buckets, but I was really impressed with the Cards defense because like that game, Rain Smith ran 1 for 9 or 1 for 8, something like that. That's not gonna always happen.
No.
You're not gonna always hit shots, but what travels, they always say, defense travels. So I'm glad to
And so
see.
does Patrick Sparks.
Uh, that is true.
Tim
Sorry.
Duncan too.
Yes. So I was glad to see that they didn't hang their head because their shots wasn't falling and they wasn't getting a few calls that I thought they should have gotten. But they stayed true to their defense and locked up when they needed to. So I was impressed about the defensive effort.
Joy, how will the stripe out turn out tomorrow?
Oh, geez.
Now, can we all agree that if for some reason, and I know it's a lot to ask because it's 21,000 seats, 22,000 seats, if U of L were to fit the bill for a one size fit all shirt to be put in every chair, I think it would be okay. But that's a lot of money, and that's a lot to ask.
It
But
still wouldn't work.
I mean, I don't know. I think that would be the closest. I mean, I can't tell you how many blackouts in football we've had
Yeah.
red everywhere. But
But
this administration, I will say this really quickly, and then I'll be quiet for a second. This administration's shown that they want to make the fans happy. They put out a tweet yesterday. Dana opened up her DMs for people to submit stories about their favorite Louisville basketball memories. It's fan friendly. They're doing what they're supposed to. I commend Dana, commend Coach Kelsey, Josh Hurd, and everybody up there. There's some really cool things that they are planning. I can't really talk about that on the air, but some really cool things they're planning coming down the stretch that are going to be that I'm excited for. But how's the stripe out, Joe? I'm sorry, back to you. You said not
I
good.
said, oh man, disorganized probably. I mean, again, multiple factors to it. Louisville fans like to pregame, so that could have part of it. As far as banking on if a shirt will, fit someone or not, that can be part of it.
One size fits all. If U of L puts one size fits all shirts in all the seats, which that's a speculation. Not why are you wearing blue to a Louisville show?
He's got his.
He's blued up.
Yeah, but it's WWE.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's not.
I didn't mean to jump on him. West Keys, exactly. We don't coordinate well.
But
Babu says I've had this flu bug and it lasted a good 2 weeks. It was no joke. Kudos to the players.
I ain't had the flu, but I've had this cough and congestion for about 2 weeks, and the other point to that is even once you're over it, you've had it for 2 weeks, so now you about another 3 or 4 days, just recuperating.
He said it was no joke. Kudos to the players for even playing. I couldn't walk 50 feet without losing my breath. Absolutely. Justin says, I think the stripe out will be successful. Yeah, I know, Daniel. I was just messing with you. You should know me by now. Sam,
I
Sean,
think
anybody, do you think is it going to be different or is it just going to be same-o?
we talk about the coordination of Louisville fans. I think that's more football than basketball because I've seen we had red outs and white outs when Patino was here. That 98% of the crowd obeyed the whiteout rule or the red out. But for our first time doing the checkered red black, I think we'll be I think I'll be surprised that it's not a good turnout. I think they're gonna surprise a lot of people. We're still gonna have those few that didn't know or didn't read it or wore the wrong color. But for the most part, I think it'll be kind of successful, even though it'll be our first time doing it.
Yeah, I think if it was a white out or a red out or a black out, it'd be a whole lot easier, and it would come off a whole lot more appeasing to the eye, from TV or whatever. Oh man, they did a really good job. That's the hard part though, is like, depending on what section you're in, knowing what color you're supposed to wear. Like,
well, it's easy. They said all even sections wear black, all odd sections
did you
wear
not
red.
hear me say that we pregame?
Well, yeah.
Before they even leave the house, they pregame. So, what am I supposed to wear? Red, black? I just wear whatever.
It's got the potential to look really cool if we pull it off. Secured a double bye in the ACC tournament. That's good stuff. Right now, I think they've got us matched up against, is it Clemson? If the seeds hold, it's us and Clemson, and then Duke and SMU.
Yeah.
This is 1, 2, 3, 4.
SMU's 4?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And they're in the next 4 out on the bracketology?
Yeah, because, that's the ACC's just down this year.
Well, and we'll talk about that later, too, because I don't necessarily agree with the ACC's down. I think we got a little bit of a SEC football situation brewing, but we're going to talk about that.
Just spoke about that yesterday.
Yeah, it got a little bit of that thing that's brewing. Guys, I want to say this before I start spouting off these stats that our guy Kelly Dickey had put out on Twitter this week. I don't want to get everybody's hopes up, but every single thing we've talked about this year that could be a downfall has seemingly been fixed. I know that I had said, the last thing I had said was, Sean, you didn't hit record.
Oh.
No, don't hit it now. For those that are wanting to listen to the audio version of this tomorrow, you'll have to wait, and I'll have to stay up another hour after this is over. So shout out to Sean. Thanks for that. Nuts. But attacking the basket when we were struggling shooting, the last 3 games we've done that. Shot 179 free throws the game before. When it got down to it,
when it got down to
I'm dead. When it got down to it, this
voiceover,
this game we attacked the basket, so I'm into it. Okay, so KD tidbits he tweeted out. Chucky Hepburn is on pace to be the only player in Louisville history to average 15 points and 5 assists per game for a season. Quite impressive. Louisville has its 4th highest scoring team in the past 30 years at 79.5 points, behind 2005, 2014, and 2003. 2003. That would have been Larry's sophomore year. So who were the...
Dean and Garcia.
Was it Reese?
Marcus and...
No, Marcus only won 12 games a couple times.
I mean, they didn't score 81 points a game.
I guess. Louisville's 74.7% free throw shooting is its 5th highest in program history, behind 1976 at number 4. 2004 again at 3rd was 75%. 1975 at 75.2%. In 2019 at 77.7.
I don't remember us being that good of a free throw shooting team in 2019.
I don't either.
I don't.
But quite honestly, like the last 5 years before, well, actually longer than that. So Patino was let go in what, 2017?
Mm-hmm.
So Padgett coached the 2017-2018 team, and then
2018, 19, and 20.
Okay. Yeah, so really like the last 8 years have been a blur to me.
So Final 4 bound. Kelly Dickey gives us proof. Every team in Louisville history losing only one game in January and February has made the Final Four. That is an amazing statistic. In fact, guys, I'm ready to move my needle a little bit. I know I said round of 32, maybe Sweet 16. Now, obviously, things happen in basketball, and the team that's supposed to win don't win. Right now, to me, this is an Elite Eight caliber team. Do you agree or disagree, Sean?
I agree. They can make the Elite Eight easy, as long as it's just. Unfortunately, it's about matchups, right? I mean, we have some trouble with physical teams. We also have trouble with quicker guards that can break you down off the dribble. However, overall, this team, especially when they're shooting well, they can beat anybody.
I was listening to talk radio on the way home the other day, and CBS Sports guy was on there, and they asked him about Louisville, and he said, I can't really tell you what their weakness is. And that's usually something that's very blaringly obvious every year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, free throws or shooting for 3-point percentage, or well, not even percentage, just 3-point, 3-point shooting, because our percentage this year isn't the greatest because we shoot a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
But it's fun. He said it's a fun team, really fun team to watch. You can tell that they enjoy playing basketball with each other. And again, no blaring weakness. So I think I was the first one to say probably an Elite Eight team. And again, it all depends on matchups.
No,
sure.
West Keys and Hickey, they predicted undefeated seasons.
Theirs don't count.
Okay, fair.
They always predict undefeated
Yeah,
seasons.
theirs don't count.
That's very fair.
But it all depends on matchups. I'm not ready to say they're one of the 4 best teams in the country because I don't think they are right now. But I do think they're one of the 8 best.
Who's better? Like
Duke, Auburn, Houston, and then probably I think I've watched several Florida games. I know they've lost some games, but Florida's really tough.
Yeah, I think we beat Duke if we play him again. I think we beat Tennessee if we play him again. There's just nobody out there that I've seen play that has played at the level of consistency that we played with since we lost to those blue turds down the road. And we talked about that earlier in the season, man. It's going to take this team a little bit to gel. They have peanut butter and jellied in the last 3 or 4 months. So
am I saying that? That's not me saying that we can't beat those teams, because we only lost to Duke by 11. We've gotten better. They probably have too, but we have gotten a ton better since we played that game. That's not saying that we can't beat them, but I'm just saying, and this is not a shot at our team, talent-wise, overall talent-wise, Duke has 3 projected first 10 picks in the draft.
That's awful hype. Cooper Flagg is the only one of their starters that if you take Cooper Flagg out of that, Fat and Javon and Chucky murder any threesome in college basketball, and it's to me it's not even close.
Auburn's pretty good.
Yeah, but you can't take you can't take that would be like saying
you can't. No,
Chucky out of ours, and
yeah.
So based on the pieces that they have,
so that means Javon would be up against Cooper and the other. I just.
What about St. John's?
I've watched some of their games. They're
really good defensively.
Never heard of them.
Yeah,
they are legit. I think we're better than they are, but overall,
that 20 defense though, man.
I would put us in at number 5, like the 5, creeping up on 4. Let's see what they do in the ACC tournament. They make a deep run. I'd be willing to say, hey, we're one of the 4 best teams in the country.
Well, right now Jeremy's got the lock at Elite 8. I'm not ready to put him up in the top 4 either.
That's what we're in agreement there.
2025 commit the Fu Manchu man has moved into the top 25. Is he a 5-star yet, Sean?
No, he's still a 4-star.
So it's top 25, still a 4-star.
Mm-hmm.
Moving up to top 25 is big deal, especially at his position. So we're happy about that. What about the UK, the big blunder from KSR this week? Now they've tried to act like they've even the playing field by setting up a promo code cards25 that their fans can use to. I mean, we can still use the same code.
Yeah, that's
and we will.
And we will. So great idea.
They just didn't think anybody would be smart enough to.
Well, that's because they're used to talking to their own kind.
Right.
No offense. Look, we're going to hit the commercial break really, really quickly, and then we will be back. This is the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast on the CSE Podcast and Network. Sean, where is the stupid? Here's the commercials. All right, we'll see you in a few. Shout out to all of our fine sponsors, the Collision Course Crew Tailgaters. It's time. Located behind the El Nepal at 2745 Crittenden Drive. They're set up there all football season for the home game. Shout out to Bill, Garrett, Rhino, Craig, Kevin, Doc, and the crew. Rest in peace, Corrito, for a great time. Hit up the Collision Course Crew Tailgaters. For Peg's Beer Lounge, where every week is either Wings Day or the Ribs Day. On Wings Day, $20 all you can eat jumbo smoked wings and $1.25 per wing all day long. On the Ribs Day, come get the best ribs in the Ville for just $25 all you can eat or $2 a bone all day long. Fitness Market. Contact our fine friends at Fitness Market to find out how they can furnish your dream at-home gym. From treadmills to saunas to weights, they have you covered. Planet Fitness. Shout out to Planet Fitness and Rick Cooper for helping us look sharp on the sidelines this summer. Great monthly deals for memberships as well. Check your local listings for a location near you. Cherry Pickin', a hoops-themed cold-pressed juice and smoothie bar inspiring you to take what's good. Conveniently located at 828 East Main Street behind the local seltzery. Tell them CSC sent you for 15% off your total order. Shoot 360, a premier state-of-the-art basketball training facility with highly skilled trainers. Call 515-6556 and sign up today. Great value all around. And if you go to shoot360.com, you can pre-register for a free workout. Come to Shoot 360, the world's most advanced basketball training facility. Rally House. Check out our friends at the Jefferson Mall. Lisa, Dee, Rico, Amanda, and the crew. Tell them Cardinal Sports Zone sent you. They'll make sure you get taken care of really well. Rally House. Our house. Your house. Rally House. Local stuff. Last but not least, our fine friends at Mossy Oak and Hart Properties. If you are in the market to buy or sell farms, land, recreational, or residential areas in the state of Kentucky, let Paul or one of their team of professionals at Mossy Oak and Hart Realty help you out with all your buying and selling needs. Call Paul at 270-537-4422 or email him at pthomas@mossyoakproperties.com. Mossy Oak, we know land. Sean, you have one job every week, and it's to start the mixer and look presentable. So 2 jobs.
So he didn't do either one this week.
He didn't. Every time I meet Sean out in public somewhere that's semi-formal dress, he ends up showing up looking like the cart boy at Myers. It's ridiculous. No offense to anybody who does the carts at Myers. But he even had the red vest on, like he was about to thank you for coming to Myers. Looking at again, this is the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Wyman, with Sean Barber, Joe Wyman, and the one and only Sam Baisden. I held my joke back.
At y'all's dinner last year, he showed up looking like a waiter. Black shirt,
yeah, he did.
Pants.
He did. He looked like
He started
my
walking
shadow.
up, and I was like, "Can I get a Dr. Pepper?" Oh, wait a minute, Sean.
Well, that's better. He walked up to me and I took his hat off and put $1 in it. I didn't know what to do. Look, we are going to have a very special guest on this week. We've talked about it already. Spencer Leck from Louisville basketball will be joining us in a pre-tape. So if you have any questions for Spencer, please get those to us. DM those to me, and we'll get the questions asked. We're going to do a quick little Q&A with him. We were going to have Peyton on with him, but had some things come up. Peyton was pulled. We're going to have him on. He's going to be in studio with us this summer, so we're looking forward to that. But Spencer Legg, he has a foundation called Spencer Stand, And you go to spencerstand.com, and it tells you his story of being a Division I, Type 1 diabetic, all the struggles and things, obstacles he had to overcome. It's a great mission statement. It's a great, just a great foundation. So donate if you can. They've got 3 different levels of NIL for him. And part of it goes to him, part of it goes to the foundation, obviously. For $10, you can spend 1 hour with them doing a virtual talk. For $50, you can get 2 hours of shoot around with him during the week at some time up at the Cooper Center. And then additionally, for $50, now the opportunities are running out this year, and we don't know if he's going to be here next year, but you got a couple more opportunities to pay $50 and get the Louisville game day experience. You get to hang out with the team before and after the game. You get some really good seats for the game, and you get to hang out with the team. So it's a really good cause, really good time, and we can't wait to have Spencer on here with us next week. I think we're going to record it Wednesday. We'll figure out a time where at least a couple of us could be there. If not, it's okay. I do interview people for a living. Got some exciting stuff coming up. Obviously, we talked about this earlier. Tomorrow for us, we're gonna be watching Elimination Chamber and the Louisville basketball game at the same time. Monday Night Raw coming to Louisville. We're gonna have a couple of good interviews there. Maybe Daniel can get in touch with the people in Lexington, and we can get some more superstar interviews with them for the Lexington Loop. I think they go to Lexington the next month. SmackDown. So should be a good time and stuff. Segment. No. What was I thinking? The hottest segment, sweeping the nation. Sean, it's your turn. It is your turn to shine. It's your turn to shine. We're going to turn you sideways, shine you up real nice. Never mind, that's the Rocks line. Let's go to the segment.
No.
Yeet. All right. Well, the quiet storm is about to end because it is time to talk women's basketball with women's basketball beat writer Sam Bays. And Sam, update Card Nation on the goings on of this week. Had a tough game against. I don't know if we talked about the North Carolina game yet. I don't believe we did.
That was last Sunday, I believe.
Was it Sunday?
Yeah.
So, just kind of go over the North Carolina game, and then last night was senior night. So let everybody know what was going on.
Yeah. Long story short, it was a disappointing loss to North Carolina. They were ranked 10th. It was a game that Louisville looked great all three quarters of the game, and then inexplicably they forgot how to play defense in the fourth quarter. I think they gave about 28 or 29 points in the fourth quarter, and things like that happened earlier on in the season, kind of in the middle of the season where Louisville had big leads against teams, and then they just couldn't close out in the fourth quarter. But you're in the end of February now. Those things we had hoped would have been fixed by now, but I rather it, even though it happened, I would much rather it happen in the end of February than happen in March. So hopefully they continue to learn from those losses and build on that. But like you said, the Cards bounce back. Well, another reason why I was disappointing is because now the Cards are in a four-way tie for third place, to where they can either be third or sixth at the end of tomorrow.
Ugh.
And it is disappointing because I still don't understand how Louisville beat Florida State and Duke, but yet Duke and Florida State are still ranked, still ahead of them in the ACC tournament polls, even though they have the exact same record. I still don't understand that. I would thought that the tiebreaker would go to the person that won the head-to-head,
Head, yeah.
but they still have Florida State and Duke ahead of Louisville for whatever reason. But Cards
But they
bounce.
did that in the college football though too, wasn't it? Like strength of victory or something.
It was something. So
Yeah.
Kelly Dickey did explain that on his timeline. So if you want to go back and look at that. All right, Sam, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, my
No, you
bad.
good. So, but the Cards did bounce back with a much needed win against a team they should have beat, which they did beat, and it was senior night. It was the last night that you would have seen Olivia Cochran, Julia Williams, Jada Curry, and Marissa Russell in the Yum Center. Side note: I do miss those days, those years when Louisville hosted the first two rounds of the NCAA tournament because we were one of the higher one or two seeds. So hopefully that comes back next year or the year after that. But just, Taj Robertson led four Louisville players in double digits, so she's well on her way. I think she should be the pick for ACC Rookie of the Year. But outside of that, Louisville has a big game against Notre Dame coming up on Sunday at 12 o'clock. College game day is going to be there. Notre Dame is coming off back-to-back losses for the first time in a while.
Yeah.
Uh,
Ugh.
so I know they're going to come, and they did their celebration for Senior Day. Was it Thursday or Friday? It might have been yesterday. Sorry, Thursday. So it's kind of weird, but it is their last home game. It's technically their senior day, even though they celebrated it the game before. I know they're gonna come out hungry and aggressive and physical. Uh, Louisville, the last time they didn't match it in the first quarter,
Mm-hmm.
but they were able to go ahead and match the physicality and game speed and execution later on. So I hope that the Cards learn from that and are able to take that with them to South Bend because they really do need a win. They put themselves in a position to need a win to stay out of that 6 seed area, maybe 5 because Duke and Florida State play each other. So Louisville's going to jump one of them, hopefully, if maybe both, depending on if we get a win or not. So let's hope for a Cards win. They can do it because Notre Dame struggles, even though they have really good guards in Citron and Miles and Hidalgo. They kind of struggle a lot when it comes to guards that can penetrate and finish. And we have Taj Roberts, Jalea Williams, and Jada Curry can also get to the hole, and excel in the mid-range game as well as the three-point game. So the Cards have to be strong, have to be smart, they have to match the physicality, and they can't get rattled by the crowd. And they just have to play their game and follow the scout. So if they can do that, they'll bump Notre Dame from the first seed, and maybe they can bump themselves up to a third or fourth seed to get that double bye.
Absolutely. Babu with a question. I got a question. I did the KSR code for a mint, but if I do the card 25 code, do I have to create another email address? Great question. I don't know. I only did the one of the KSR code. Give it a try. Let us know. That'd be a good. Matthew Dodson says the people want to hear more Joey. Well,
That's my beard brother right there.
he has every opportunity to speak.
What's
Matthew.
up, my man?
Listen, we are having a good night here with you all here on the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast. Sorry, I got 1,000 things going on at the same time. Looks like our let's transition to the final segment before Higgy's masterclass on English.
His AI rapid fire.
His AI rapid fire. NFL Combine started this week. I think yesterday, maybe Wednesday. I'm not sure. Ashton and Quincy, amongst others, look like they're doing their thing. I'm not seeing a whole bunch about anybody else other than them two, and then a little Ja'Cory Brooks. Looks like that's working out very well. So my first question that I wanted to ask you all, it's about tournament expansion. So now they're talking about not only expanding the college football to 16 games, 16 teams. Now they're talking about expanding the college basketball tournament to 96 teams. Is 96 too many teams, Sean?
Yes, I think.
Now they're going to do what they're trying to make more money.
Yeah, and I do get it because in a way it'd be kind of cool to watch games on like Tuesday and Wednesday of that week. But at the same time, I feel like you're giving teams that I don't think are going to have a chance to really do anything a spot. What's the point of giving it to them.
Well, plus you're increasing opportunities for those players to get hurt,
Exactly.
and it's meaningless game. Like, and then let's just say a team slips up that shouldn't, that deserves to be in the tournament, and the team that beats. And I know that happens every year, but with 96, that just, gosh, that's just way too many teams.
Way too many. I can see expanding a little bit because, as you said, in these smaller conferences and mid majors where a team dominates the entire year and then they get to the tournament and a team gets hot and beats them hitting a bunch of threes. They're clearly not the better team, but they steal that bid. And this team that dominated that tournament or dominated that conference all year gets left out. It just sometimes it doesn't feel right to me, and I wouldn't mind seeing that expansion. But 96 just feels like
I don't know how many teams it would take it to, but I think you could go for the 14, 15, and 16 seeds. You could have all of those be play-in games, right? With these low major conferences that are automatic qualifiers, right? And then you could still have for the 11 seeds the tail end of the major conferences or the Power Four and the mid majors to claim the 11.
So that would be 77 teams if my math is correct. That's I
could live with that. I could live with that because the 13 to 16 most of the time doesn't matter. I mean, it does here and there. It does here and there. Last year, was it Oakland? Definitely mattered. But I kind of like for the 11. Is it for right now? It's not for all 4 11 seeds, right? It's just for 2 of them.
Oh shoot! I was about to ask the same question. I think it might be for all.
I think it's just for 2 of them. I think they need 2 11 seeds and then 2 16 seeds.
Okay, yeah, it's for
the first 4. There's 8 teams, so
okay,
4 matchups.
Games,
Yeah.
4 play.
Lowest 11 seeds and lowest.
Or do for not never necessarily for all 4 11 seeds. Do for like they're doing now for 11 seeds, but the 14, 15, and 16 seeds. Do the way we was talking about. What that would do is it would get a few of those right. Like right now, the first 4 out and the next 4 out would be in. It shouldn't matter. Like as far when it really comes down to it, shouldn't really matter that much. I mean, you get one like NC State was 11 last year, made the Final Four, but too many. I mean, it's too many. College football, I'm okay with 16. Like I felt like it's what it should have kind of really went to begin with. They just, if they keep it at 12, they just need to redo the seating or how they're doing.
Which is what they're working.
Yeah,
they're working on that.
Yeah, I didn't like the way the top 4 seeds got how the seating was.
Yeah, so you don't like the highest ranked conference champions. Which I kind of agree because you had teams that were better that had to play in the first round.
Well, in Notre Dame, they would never be anything better than a 6, 5 or a 6.
Correct.
Yes, I don't agree with that.
Wes Keys has an interesting question. What does Sean's love life and a Brian Brown defense have in common?
Can't hit the hole.
Well, Brian Brown's defense gets ran through. Sean doesn't, so I'm not really sure what he's alluding to here.
Can't find the A gap.
Can't find a gap?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
I
would
go
ahead, Sam.
I think 97, like Sean and Joey, 97, 96, whatever they want to call it, is too much. I think it needs to stay right where it's at, without adding anything else, because what they're doing is they're accommodating is their adult version of the participation trophy award that they give out now. When we were younger, if you won first, second, third, that's it. Anything out of you, better luck next year.
Participation awards.
Yeah, and I think what they're trying to do now is, we need to get these lesser known teams, mid-major teams, or give the little guys time. No. If the NCAA tournament is for those who deserve to be in there. Either you win your conference, you win your conference tournament, and you get in, or you don't, and you wait till Selection Sunday to see if you make it in. if you put so many more teams in there, you kind of take away from the
Yeah.
allure that is Selection Sunday. So it needs to stay where it's at. Don't add anyone else. Either you get in, you do the work to get in, as an automatic qualifier, or you wait for Selection Sunday. And if your name shows up, great, you celebrate. If not, better luck next year, or have a nice college career. Go on and do what you got to do.
It's all about the Benjamins.
So I'm going to do something very uncharacteristic. I'm going to disagree with everybody. If I was in charge of the tournament committee, I'm cutting this thing to 48 teams. You put your top 25 in there. You put your conference champions in there. You let the best of the best battle it out, and that makes the tournament. Now, I'm not saying only have like 8 teams in it like they did back in the when the Smurf turds did a lot of damage because you only had to play two or three games and it was easy to get through those. But you put the best of the best in there. Stop watering this down. The football I think should stay at 16. Shouldn't expand anymore. But if it's 16 successful, they're going to push for 32 on that.
16
yeah,
is too
especially
much.
if the SEC doesn't get enough teams in it.
It's it's way too much. I don't disagree. Really quickly, something I wanted to point out this episode is ACC hoops really that bad, or are they the new SEC football? Sam, I'll let you talk about this one first.
Is the ACC hoops really that bad, or
Well, what I mean by that is that everybody thinks the SEC football is just superior because they beat up on everybody every week, each
Oh,
other
right.
every week. So one or two teams look really good. The rest of them look
okay?
very beatable. So is this just a case where the top is really, really good and everybody else is just, because even Joey just finding out that SMU was 4, Wake Forest is 5th. And
They're bad.
well, you say that, but they beat a lot of good teams in the ACC. Boston College has beaten a lot of good teams, or not Boston College. Sorry, y'all suck. Georgia Tech has beaten a lot of good teams. I think they beat us in Clemson back to back. I'm not sure about that.
I think they did, and they lost to someone they shouldn't have lost to. But no,
That's
no,
just typical Big East basketball right there. We would do the same thing back in the day. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
I don't want to say it's the equivalent to SEC in football. The ACC is having a down year, but a down year to the ACC is different from a down year to other conferences because we do have so many talented schools. So when we're like you say, SMU shockingly is I think one of the first 4 out in the tournament or last 4 in, but they're in a 4 seed for us. So it's kind of hard to say that we are beating up on each other, yes, but we are having a down year. But our down year is different than most conferences' down years because we do have so many talented teams in the ACC.
Wes's answer was they love bleeping themselves and staying in prevent.
The flip side to this question is, or for me, looking at, and this goes to the conversation I had yesterday with my best friend. He's a Kentucky fan. He's fairly open minded, and doesn't just crap on everything. I think that SEC basketball, they got like 9 teams, 10 teams ranked. Come on now.
Yeah.
They shouldn't.
No.
They shouldn't. They should have 5, maybe 6.
Well, that was my follow-up question. Is SEC basketball the new SEC football?
Yes. They rank, they'll rank them so they can have ranked matchups.
Yeah.
And then they can say they were 6-5 against the top 25. Oh, their strength of schedule and their strength of victory, or even their strength of loss, whatever, is better. That's the thing. Look, we all know that the ACC isn't respected in either sport by the people that do the polls or whatever. Big Ten and SEC run the game, both of them. They're going to, like, the SEC, even the Big Ten has teams ranked that probably shouldn't be.
I think there should be 5, maybe 6 SEC teams that should be ranked. Because, looking at the product, the There are 5 legit good SEC teams, and you might could slide a 6 team in there because you have Florida, Alabama, Auburn, and Tennessee. Those are top 4 guaranteed.
Those are non-negotiable
Yeah.
top 25 teams.
And then you want to throw. I think Missouri is great. I might be alone on that, but I do think Missouri is
Oh
warranted.
man, y'all know we're forgetting one team, one very prevalent SEC team that we're going to get a lot of crap for if we don't mention them. Vanderbilt.
This year, they might be the 5th best team in that league.
So yeah.
I mean, Texas A&M was showing some life there for a while.
Well, so were you.
Overrated. Mississippi State, overrated.
But I will say this.
I do.
The SEC Challenge, they kicked the crap out of the ACC.
Yeah, and when was that?
Early in the season.
It happened, though.
Right.
I mean, it happened. It wasn't even close. That's the problem. The game. We had 2 wins, and the rest of the games are double digits. I mean,
If we played that challenge right now, I think that's what's
different.
Yeah.
Put us up against any of them.
Now, I think the ACC, I think Louisville would have won against Mississippi or Ole Miss, but like Wake Forest, I still think they lose.
Why did he change Mississippi to Ole Miss?
I was about to say Mississippi State.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Here's my thing. Right now, if you put Duke and Louisville, the top 2 teams in the ACC, and let's take Clemson, top 3. I think those 3 teams could at least either win or keep it close with any of the teams in the SEC right now.
The top teams or just everyone?
The top. Well, I mean, if I think they can hang with the top teams, I think they can hang with everyone.
I mean, Clemson's already proven they can beat.
Well, they didn't
SEC
beat one.
teams.
They didn't beat one of the top 4 or 5.
Well, true. That's true. But a great point here by I don't want to let it go unseen. Babu says he'd like to see a mini tournament where the last 4 in and the first 4 out play each other, and the winners get to go to the tournament. I would
play in games. In
yeah.
I wouldn't hate that. That would be really cool.
Can't complain about it then.
No.
You had a chance.
Right.
Guys, the baseball team doing very well this year. Continued their winning ways today, despite going down 6-0 in the second inning. Sean jinxed us. I said, "What's something that we've not talked about that we should talk about?" And he's like, "Well, baseballs are doing really well. They've got like several ranked wins. Let's talk about them." And then I look at the scoreboard, and we're down 6-0 in the second. Walk-off home run. We went 8-6 against the Johnnies, the Red Storm. Take that, Coach Patino. Just kidding. He looked very happy today up there with Tom Juris and Kenny Klein. Posted a tweet earlier where he was hanging out with them.
Yeah, 7-1 on the season now.
Yeah, so
6-game winning streak.
All right, so that means our only we beat Texas and we beat Arizona.
We lost to Oklahoma State, I think it was.
Oklahoma State, yeah. That was the middle game of those.
Yes.
Yep. And we're actually leading in that for a while.
Yeah.
All right, it's time for AI Rapid Fire with Higgy. The University of Louisville baseball team slugged its way to a 15-11 victory over Butler on Wednesday afternoon at Jim Patterson Stadium. Louisville, 6-1, 7-1, has now won 6 straight games in each. Here's the thing.
This was before today.
No, he sent this to me at 5:00 this afternoon.
Right, they hadn't won yet.
Right, but why send it to me before the game's over with?
Well,
as mad as I am for Sean not hitting the button to start the show, if these were the old days, do you recognize how we were 35 minutes into the show? Oh, we had to start all the way over.
I remember several times where
yes,
we did the same first 25 minutes 3 times. And so after the first time we realized it wasn't recorded, we was like, oh man, we made some really good points. What did we say? So we were like trying to remember,
trying to mimic our reaction,
reenact it.
Yeah.
And then it's like, son of a.
Thank goodness we're recording for Shittigus.
Oh gosh, I didn't either. So they've now won 6 straight games, and each of its first 4 at home. It don't make sense. First 5 at home. The Cardinals pounded out 16 hits. We'll explain that to you later, Sean, including 4 homers, scoring in each of the first 6 innings to secure the victory. The softball team defeated crosstown rival Bellarmine 10-0 in 5 innings on Wednesday at Ulmer Stadium. With the win, the Cards improved to 11-5 on the young season. Shout out to them doing a good job. They should be in consideration for ranking here soon. Joe, you want to read the next one?
Sure. The University of Louisville's Donata Ellis has been named to the 2025 preseason ACC rowing watch list as announced by the league office today. Ellis, a freshman from Osijek, Croatia, joined the Cards in January prior to her arrival. She was nominated for the 2024 Sportswoman of the Year in her hometown, Osijek, Croatia, after helping Osijek Ictus Rowing Club to the 2024 overall rowing national championship.
What a great job. Sean, do you want to take the next one while I finish clearing my throat out?
The University of Louisville women's tennis team.
All right, that's horrible. They fell 4-1 Sunday afternoon at number 57 SMU, snapping a 4-match win streak for the Cards. In doubles action, the duo of Ali Grakowski and Lika Pers.
Why did you take that from him? I would have loved to hear him try those.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sean, start off from in doubles action.
Oh, my God. In doubles action, the duo of Ali Grakowski and Lika
Parasipkina
fell 6-1 on court 1, while Elena Noguero and Berta Miret were defeated 6-2 on court 3 to give the Mustangs an early advantage in the match.
And that's all we got about it. We didn't hear how it finished or anything else. He just abandoned the mission. 4 University of Louisville student athletes have been selected to receive ACC postgraduate scholarship awards, as announced by league offices on Wednesday. Soledad Jean and Ty McPhail, both members of the track and field team, were named as 2 of the 35 recipients of the 2025. Well, this is 2025 Weaver James Corrigan Swaffer Postgraduate Scholarship Award. Additionally, Jean was one of the 3 student athletes in the conference who received the Jim and Pat Thacker Scholarship Award, while women's basketball player Marissa Russell and field hockey player Amy Plum were honored with the ACC Excellence Award.
None of the other field hockey players?
I was hoping to see a little Poussey on there for sure.
I was hoping they was talking about coxswains during the rowing. They didn't. That's a position.
I know. What a Duchesne that would have been.
Yeah.
Please support our photographers, Jeff Nunn, TJ Barr, our guy JK getting back out there. We got a couple of baseball photo galleries, one from JK and one from Jeff and Aiden Nunn, his son this week. I think it was Aiden. Might have been the other one. Jeff's got so many kids.
When you've been around that long, you found something.
That's true. Jeff is older than dirt. And Keith Russell, man, they do a phenomenal job for the website, for the fan base, for the university, for the athletes. The athletes see all their stuff. They post it. They love it. Almost made it a whole show without yawning. Sorry. Joey will turn the fan off, so I'm yawning.
Man. Joey's
Joey's having a hot flash. Okay. Tune into the show Fridays at 11:05 p.m. Every week. We'll take care of you all through the next day as we have been. I'll be up much longer because even though we did the show for a nice hour and some change, I have to re-record the show onto the audio after I already wrote the podcast post for Sean, so he didn't have to do any work after the show, so he could get home in case he had the flu in the morning because he gets sick every other day. And now I've got to stay up to 2 o'clock in the morning. I digress. For scholarship opportunities, let me get this note off the screen real quick. For sponsorship opportunities, all you have to do is look right below Sam's face. Email us at that address, and we will get you taken care of. We have many sponsors, as you can see at the top of the screen, the bottom of the screen. Many great relationships with them. They get a lot of a payoff I get from advertising on our show, and we love talking about them. Great people. From Lisa at Rally House, from Rick at Planet Fitness, Sydney and them at Cherry Picking, Chris at Fitness Market, Chris at Four Pegs, the Collision Course crew, Bill Jones and Peyton Siva and Dean and them at Shoot 360, and our guy at Mossy Oak. It's just Paul. He's just great. Sorry. So if you want to join that great esteemed group of people and sponsors, hit us up. Stay tuned to our social media and subscribe to us on YouTube or Facebook to be alerted anytime we go live. See, this shows y'all how dedicated I am. I had a damaged voice. Y'all too, and I still did this for y'all. Stay tuned to our social media and subscribe to us on. Okay, I already said that, didn't I?
Yeah.
I'll say it again. Hey, stay tuned to our social media and subscribe to us on YouTube and Facebook to be alerted anytime we go live, even though we prefer the tube of you. You can find the audio version on over 125 podcast avenues overall. When I say it, it's not suspect. Apple, iTunes, Buzzsprout, Spotify, TuneIn, Google, Amazon, iHeart. Hit subscribe, like, heart, plus sign. Say it with me. Or whatever it is that Sean does on the weekend now.
Whatever it is that Sean does on the weekends. Now.
Don't say it with me, not after me, slap nuts.
He flogs.
I don't think you can hit the flog button on any of them. If you, oh no, what was the word we
I forgot.
Oh, the glazer.
Yeah,
You can't hit the glaze button on any of them either.
he'd glaze himself if he could.
Sean hit the button. This is the second one down in the first row.
Unbelievable.
You're the producer.
Do you not know he doesn't know how to hit anything?
If you haven't listened to all the prior episodes of the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast, it's easy to find. Go to cardinalsportszone.com. I'll be honored again. This fan is incredible. Go to the podcast tab, podcast drop down menu, and select the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast. You can see some of our archives in there too. I think it's under archives, and then our current run of the show, all 6 seasons, is under CSC podcast. Check out our exclusives on cardinalsportszone.com as well, the place that I'll begin. Shout out to everybody who's out there sharing the podcast. We appreciate and love you guys. Shout out to our guys, Marcus Maven and Steve Rummage, doing the Lord's work Monday through Friday from 10 to noon on ESPN 93.9 The Ville, and our guy Dalton Pence Mondays on the Big X. Joey's guy Dalton Pence from 6 to 7 on the Big X.
Sean's guy, Dalton Pence.
Sam's guy, all of our guy Dalton Pence, but Sean's especially.
Mark Pope's guy, Dalton Pence.
Yeah. Listen. Shout out. Speaking of Mark, shout out to Mark and Dan at the 502 Circle for handling all the recruiting and revenue stuff like that. We appreciate it. Where can we find you guys on social media, Sean?
At Elville Sean.
Your Instagram.
S Barber 06.
Your Bumble.
Do not have a Bumble.
That's a lie. Sam.
Spaceboy 12. Well, I don't have a Bumble.
Okay, Pegger.
I don't have one of those either.
Pegger 2025.
All right, so Baseboy 124. That's you on both, right? Twitter and Instagram.
Yes.
Joey.
Joe Wallman 526.
I'm at Jeremy_CSZ on both. I'm going to give my last words first. Got a couple topics to talk about. Again, we got Spencer Legg coming in joining us for the show during the week. We're going to do a pre-recorded. I'm not sure. Do we want to release that as a bonus episode or play? Our shows are long enough as it is. Well, you know what? We'll record it. We'll do it as its own episode, a bonus episode during the week. Shout out to Coach P, not only for the video he sent, but he just become the first coach in Division I history to lead 5 different teams to conference championships, regular season championships. We are going to do, so congratulations to him. We are going to do a selection show at Shoot 360. Did we decide on a date and time yet? I know we talked about it. We'll get that to you all next week because it's coming down to the wire.
A selection show for what, the tournament?
Yeah, for the NCAA tournament.
Wouldn't we just do it live?
No, because we don't know all the matchups. Like, we won't be able to. So we talked about it in the group chat. We'll get you all date and time next week. I promise that. TBT ramping up. Ruff Smith committed this week. A lot of other guys that are committed that they haven't announced yet. Very excited for you all. Jesus, it's almost over, Jeremy. Just keep telling yourself. For the TBT coming back to town in hopes that we get to host all the way to the championship. That'll be very fun. Speaking of Cardinal Sports Zone personalities and shows, Spillin' the Ville, which is a new show hosted by Terrence Jennings, former Cardinal, and CSZ's own Blake McCauley. Now, this podcast is part of the Cardinal Sports Zone Podcast Network, so it is. We will represent it as our show. It's it's their show, but it's got our full backing, and it's been pretty good so far. Listening to it's always good, and I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm not going to say it. But there's another former Card that's looking to start up a podcast to share their experiences. I know. Going on. I know I said earlier we're going to talk about future guests. I'm trying my hardest to get, I'm not going to tell you who it is, but it's one of the greatest of all time. He had a very historical performance at Louisville. That's all I'm giving you. I know that's very vague and nobody's going to be able to figure it out off of that, but it is what it is. As always, I've been posting my weight loss posts and results every Thursday on Instagram. So Jeremy_CSZ, if you're interested in that, please subscribe there. Tell your friends to tell their friends about CSZ so we can all be friends. No Diddy. Let's get the chat line caught up. No, I want to get your Paul, says Wes. Your last words. Sean, give us your last thoughts, not last words, even though I might murder you for not recording the show.
Well, you probably, murder me like we're going to murder the Pittsburgh Panthers.
What is
tomorrow?
It? What is it?
It's Merkin season in the Ville.
We are 10.5-point favorites. I'll look for us to win by 22.
Oh, we should be 25-point favorites.
I'm going to say 26. 25.5.
I ain't got a whole lot. Just go Cards. Maryland's trash. Smurfs like to eat
turds.
Yeah. I was trying to think of something different, but
that's okay.
We're not on Sirius Radio yet.
Not yet.
I'm just tired and ready to go home.
Sure. Sam punked out and stayed home so he could just go to sleep after the show's over.
Most definitely. Hey.
If he doesn't show up next week, he's fired, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sam.
Oh, I'm not going to be here next week.
Where are you going to be at next week?
I'm going home. I have a funeral.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, but
next week that you're
March, Sam. And I'm not trying to say he's not telling the truth because that would be heartless of me, especially with what I have going on. But have y'all ever noticed that every time it comes to the meat of the like when we really need Sam's something, he's always going back home or he's always got something else to do.
I get no signal.
No, what's so not funny but odd. We were just talking about this at work. I said, man, since April, like I consider myself blessed. My sisters and brothers, we've been kind of blessed that we haven't had a lot of death in our family. But since April, me and my sister lost our godmother. My oldest sister lost her mom about a week later. 2 months after that, we lost my granddad. And then we lost our uncle later on. And then another uncle 2 weeks ago. So it's like in the last year, it just, all of a sudden, we went years without anyone dying. And then in 1 year, they just started dropping.
That's how it was with us. This last decade has been tough for the Woman family. But our condolences, obviously. Maybe join in remotely. I'm just kidding.
It's always be good to one another, love each other. You never know when that hourglass runs out of sand. That's a country song. What the heck?
I was gonna say, when did Luke Combs join the chat? I don't know. He's still fired if he don't show up next week, right? He's ran out of excuse days.
Go Cards and Go Cards.
So Sean said you've already ran out of excused absences. So
you have no more PTO, sir.
No, we're joking. That's just what we do. Look, we hope you
We
guys
have to follow
enjoyed.
this disciplinary process, so we'll have to give it. We've already given him a verbal, so now we have to give him a written warning.
Y'all got the way from on a day when I don't work late week.
Listen, we all work. I'm not doing this. We're not doing this on the air.
Nope.
Listen,
Nope.
we hope you all
Nope.
enjoy this week. We'll talk about it after we go off the air. Thanks for all the support. We love you guys. I'm not sure if y'all can even hear the outro music or not. Let me know. Thanks again for all the support. We love you guys. I said it 2 times because I really mean it. Until next time, this has been the Cardinal Sports Zone Podcast.